Hello, everybody. Right Brains Revolution. I think this is our ninth meeting. Yes, ninth meeting. And today we return to Self-Love, the Highest Obligation course, the second meeting, second lesson that will focus on something we all like to, I don't know, argue about, but we have our opinions. God. Every community has its own God. And I'm saying that there is a connection between the term God and self-love. So let's watch the video and then we're going to talk about it and see where we can go.
אני יודעת להגיד אלוהים בפולנית.
You have to say it in English.
I know how to say God in Polish.
How do you say God in Polish?
O Boże.
O Boże?
O Boże.
O Boże. Oh my O Boże. Okay, nice. Thank you, O Boże. All right, so let's watch the video and then we're going to discuss it. Okay, here and here. And number two, where is number two? Here is number two. What is the name of your God? O Boże. All right. Self-love, the highest obligation, chapter 2 out of 36. My name is Dr. Pinky Feinstein. I'm the author of the... These are my children. I'm the author of the book Self-Love, the Highest Obligation, and also the creator of the digital course about the same issue, both in Hebrew, and this is the English version I'm happy to create. For me, as a man, as a father, as a psychiatrist, as a therapist, self-love is a major component of everything I cope with, everything I create, everything I change, everything I transform. It is a huge part of my ability to listen to my intuition, to dare and make changes, all based on a continuous practice that I do. I'm trying to do it every day, self-love. There are ways to practice self-love. It's not just a state of mind. It's an ongoing relationship that needs ongoing cultivation. And our job, our highest obligation, is to continue this practice again and again and again. One may say that if you stop practicing self-love, it means that you stop nurturing yourself with love energy, then you create more space for fear energy. Because it's like a void in which there's no light, there's no love, and in this place we become more fearful, more skeptic. We criticize ourselves more, we judge ourselves more. It's harder for us then to be compassionate towards ourselves and towards others. Bottom line, my recommendation that I will keep telling you throughout this course is to practice. Practice self-love. Do not take your relationship with yourself for granted. It is something that needs watering, it needs nurturing over and over again, and then it grows, then it blossoms. Chapter 2. What is the name of your God? Now, this chapter is not about anything religious. I know that for many people, the word God immediately associates with religion, with religious rituals, and with some kind of obligation. to the way dictated by a specific religion. Well, this is not the case here. Although, when we talk about God, and when we compare the way this word is related to love and self-love, when we compare this to religions, there will be things that we would like to discuss. There will be things that we would like to challenge as far as our culture refers to this concept of God, universe, all the things together. Nevertheless, as far as our process, it is important for me to put this here, in the beginning, in the second chapter of this course. And you may take my words and do something with them. You may decide that you don't like the way I associate love, self-love, and God, and it's okay. Because I understand that for many people, this word will be a very sensitive one. And you may don't want to put issues related to God here, to your self-development path, and it's okay. We can manage also without it. But for those of you who are interested and open to hear, learn, listen to this view, it may be something that makes this journey more interesting, more fruitful, etc. So, I have also my dog here. Usually, when I make these recordings, I make them only one, and I do it at home. There are times in which my children interrupt a little, my dog, and for me it's a kind of principle. Continue, work from home, and make the things from home. I'm doing my best to have no interruptions, but some minor interruptions, I'll let them be here. It's part of life. So, I believe that when we practice love inside us, when we practice self-love, we actually practice our ability to hear inside us God's voice. No matter if you're religious or atheist, whatever. If you have some kind of spiritual orientation, if you have your own personal definition or state of mind regarding God, that's enough. I'm saying that this concept of universe, God, is basically a concept of love, which is usually bigger than our ability to understand logically. But we can, instead of understanding, we can connect to it through the experience. We can connect to the God inside us through self-love. Because I believe that the main bond we have with the universe is bond made of love, even at times when we forget this. So, when we nurture our relationship with ourselves, with self-love practice, I believe that we also nurture our relationship with the universe, with the higher self, with God, whatever you like to name it. We're kind of reminding ourselves where we're coming from, reminding ourselves that we have a love connection with God, that we are loved by this endless entity, that this is part of who we are. And forgetting who we are is one of our biggest problems. So when you manage to practice self-love, and you get used to it, and these self-love phrases, words, sentences, attitude becomes part of you, I believe that at that time you are also more aware to the presence of God within you. You feel it. It's something, it is very sweet. It is beyond explanation. Eventually, even if this course is mainly emotional and somewhat creative, it is also spiritual. And I'm not trying to give you any spiritual guidance or any spiritual ideas. I'm telling you my idea, my orientation, that the God or the universe is something based on love, and we tend to forget it because we are here physical human beings. And our job is to remember gradually through a process of learning and practicing. So, when we practice self-love, when we put it in our lives as our highest obligation, we also become a kind of spiritual practicing people that help themselves remember that their essence is God. Their essence is love. But it's not something to understand. It's something to feel. And it is something to feel through the practice. So what is the name of your God? I can say that at least part of my God's name is love. There are other parts, but this part is crucial. I invite you to do whatever you want with this, if you want, and investigate it, learn it through your own practice, and ask yourself, when I feel better, when I practice self-love, maybe it is also God speaking to me, through me. Okay, so please write in comments everything you think or feel about this. I got an idea that, speaking of peace, maybe it's an idea we can combine all the gods we have on earth and put them all under one name, love. So the Muslims God, the Jewish God, the Christian love, the Hindu God, all the gods, I mean, they're all speaking of one God. So how can different groups speak about one God? Doesn't make sense. So if it's different groups, it is as if we have some different gods, because each one of them has their own opinion or their own rituals. I believe that above all the spiritual orientation towards something that represents all that there is, I believe eventually, and when we look at it from the positive, I would say even emotional, intelligent way, we're talking about the endless wish of people to get in touch with love. Therefore, when we're talking about the word, the concept, love, we're talking about something that represents spiritual and emotional at the same time. You cannot, I believe, that you cannot address love just as something that you can have with someone. Here, we're talking about self-love, which is not just loving me, it's beyond loving me. It's feeling the vibration, the essence of love within me. Within me, I feel this quality that I can name as love. And this is something, of course, this is an experience I cannot explain, I cannot prove. But fortunately, you have here right brain skills that come to aid you with the idea of practicing. And this is the miracle or the secret or the magic. The more you practice self-love, the more you are connected to love. And this is endless process. This is not something that eventually you reach the master level or the highest level and then you can stop. No, it doesn't work this way. It's a concept like relationship. You need to practice it routinely. And when you practice it routinely, you get back over there. You feel it again. You remember. You're awakened to this feeling that is emotional and spiritual at the same time. So I believe that if people are addressing God or praying to God, they are supposed over there to get in touch with feeling of love. Otherwise, in my eyes, it doesn't really represent God. It's something else that people needed to invent to themselves as something that is beyond everything. But as far as my point of view, this thing has a value and existence only when it is associated with love. What I'm saying is that all of us as divine creatures, sparkles of love of God, we can remember our essence, our source, by experience love within us, because the source we're coming from is, in my opinion, love. But we tend to forget it here in this three-dimensional, very challenging space. There is lots of fear and violence and problems and frustration and pain and hunger and many, many negative issues that make us forget our essence, our source, our heart, that it is love. So once we practice, once we take it as an obligation, once we repeat, renewing the connection, the love connection within us, then we have moments of remembering the God within us. Or I can put it in a different way, we can connect to God's love. And I'm saying this is not as something to read about in the Bible or in the New Testament or Buddha's scripture, I don't know. It's not something to read about or to learn about that God loves you. It's not a concept even. I'm saying it is something you're supposed to feel. Because you're not that different. You're just part of the whole story, the whole system. You are part of it. You have everything from the source within you. But how can you get to it? You need to feel it. You need to experience love, and then you can remember, at least for a few seconds, the place where you came from, the God within you. So far, does anyone want to say something? I see, David, that you are raising your head for 7 minutes. So I'll give you the opportunity to speak up. Yes.
Hi, thanks. First of all, when you mentioned God, there are many initials I could say with the word love in Hebrew, but I'll say Elohim hu borei haolam. God is the creator of the world. This is initials of the word love in Hebrew. And also gift of divine is God. Gift of divine that you have mentioned somehow. So why do I say it? I say it because like you mentioned, we are like sparks of divinity. So there is like, as well as much or as well as there is state of mind, there is a state of being that I call love, a state of being. And it cannot be taken for granted. Like you say, we have to kind of practice it. However, maybe the first thing to start with is to be aware of the fact, I would say, that we deserve it. We deserve self-love, and we deserve love in general, and we deserve to be loved in this world, because the power of love is more than anything, and it takes courage. It is more courageous to have a state of love, a state of being of love, rather than a state of being a fighter or a warrior or make wars. That, in my opinion, scary people are making it. People who are afraid are going for war. It's the easiest way out. So I would like to mention it. And in my opinion, this is what unifies as a common denominator of all humanity, in my opinion. So
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
thank you.
I believe that when you mention people who are oriented towards violence or fighting or wars, eventually, when we fight each other, when we hurt each other, actually dominated by our fears. And we have to, because if we let go of the fear and we feel love to our enemy, how can we hurt? We cannot hurt them, so we need to keep the fear alive, and then we become afraid of love. Do you know that there is, in many places, fear of love, like there is fear of peace? And this is related to a state where people kind of forgot that they came from love, and their main obligation and main challenge is one way or another related to love. Every challenge that we have, especially with other people, is related to love. And what we are doing here, for me, is first of all kind of investigating this word. And in terms of right brain ways of investigating, we are not in process of proving. It's a kind of spiritual science or spiritual intelligence that is many times awakened through conversation, through expressing many points of view, through experiencing the information within us. In terms of right brain, you know something when you feel it. You don't need to explain it. It is yours. This is why we're talking about self-love. I know about love because I can feel it within me. And in order for me to feel it within me, I must remind myself of this essence, and I can do it not through logical way, but only through practice way. Okay? All right, Viola, please.
I'm not so sure I understood you, but I just wanted to ask about this, that you said that it's not written in the Bible. You cannot find from the Bible that you are loved. Yeah, something like this you said?
I don't remember I said these words. I'm not that expert in the Bible.
Yeah, but you mentioned the Bible. So I understand you are not an expert, but you mentioned like you have something to say about it.
I would say that self-love, you know, that the word love is much more frequent in the New Testimony, much more frequent than in the Bible. This is something I heard. But as far as I know, the Bible, the concept of self-love, you cannot find it there. You can have it, love between people, or to your parents, etc. So what is your question? Or
Actually, it's my comment. It's not a question, because I'm thinking there is a lot of mentioned in the Bible about loving ourselves and being loved by God.
so you are invited to find and to show us and to enrich our knowledge about this.
I met with Irek, and we were just talking about Psalm Tehillim 139. And I told him, this is what I shared with him. And I can share with you that actually this whole process I'm going with, Anat, and also with you, I appreciate highly and very much, because suddenly, after so many years reading the Bible, the Psalm 139 is speaking to my heart as never in my life. I understood. Somehow we shared that all this, what we do here, all the practice, and also being loved and accepted by you and people who know, who are leading us in a way, but it teaches us self-respect, but also it gave me an opportunity really to open my heart for this, what is written in the Bible, because it is written, you might not know it necessarily or something. There is so much in the Old Testament about love that, we are loved, we should love ourselves, God loves us, not necessarily about, I'm not speaking about New Testament. So this is my discovery, and I a little bit disagree what you said about this, that it's not so much mentioned, because actually it's so much mentioned, but until now, I'm reading the Bible 35 years, and I was not able to enjoy it so much as I enjoy now. So this is my question. Thank you.
All right, I'm glad that your experience with the Bible was improved. And still, I'm inviting you to find quotes from the Bible about love, about self-love. I will be surprised to see, but I'm open to see. Yeah. And I'm open to disagreements here. And bottom line for me, the important thing is that we educate ourselves the importance of finding love within us. Doesn't matter if the Bible said so, if Jesus said so, if Buddha said so, if we say so, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sometimes there are people whose job is just to remind us, just a reminder, and they have their own route of reminding us how to address ourselves. Okay.
May I?
Yes, Basha.
I would like to comment on what you just were talking about, because there is, I can remember now few verses from first letter by John in New Testament, where it says, God is love, and whoever is in love lives in God. So it really confirms what you are saying, although you say you don't know the Bible, but exactly you are proving what is written there, because God is love. And this is what it says, that God is love. And because...
All right, so you are also invited to bring us the exact quote to the group. Okay.
Okay. So I've just quoted it. God is love, and whoever lives in God.
From whom?
First letter of John. They are just John Apostle.
Never mind.
Never mind. Yeah. So for me, it's confirmation of what is written in the Bible, what you teach us, because it says that God is love, and if we live in Him, if we live in love, we live in him, whether we are aware of that or not. Yes. So,
Okay.
and also, as you said, we are created out of love. Yes. And if God is love, and it also says in Tanakh, first Genesis, book of Genesis, that God made us in his own image. So if he is love, we are able to love too. So
Nice.
that is what John said, that if we live in him, we live in God, and we live in love. Yes, because God is equal mark to love. So for me, it's very encouraging also what you are saying, because, and I like what you said, that something what is in common, or it should be in common with all religion, should be love. Yes. But whether it is or not, it's another matter. Yes, but the intention, I guess, was there, that the love is the highest value. Yes. And also I wanted to comment or ask you the question, because about your definition of love, because I heard that in Greek this word love has 4 kind of meaning. There is love, agape, that is the word love that is mentioned in New Testament. As the New Testament was written in Greek, it talks about 4 types of love. Love agape, love phileo, which is between friends. Love stergo, it's like love to self, like to survive, self, that we need to look after ourselves, our children. We need to feed each other, we need to nourish, we need to look after us, buy clothes and so on. Yes, to take care of our physical being. Yes. And I guess emotional, spiritual as well. And the 4th one I remember is eros, which is directly related to sexual love. Yeah. So I was wondering whether you can expound a little bit about how you understand, what is your definition of love?
Okay. First of all, I do not define love. So I could have entered this trap, but I do not. I do not define love, because we are in right brain territory. And I'm saying, and this is what this revolution is about, instead of trying to figure out or connecting it to terms like God or making different subtitles or sub-definitions, I'm saying now that our journey is about experiencing it and taking ownership of bringing it to ourselves through our practice. That is, it's in essence, and I guess that this essence has many faces. The eros love, the love related to survival, or love to our children, love to our friends, love to our football team, etc. And this is, I would say, these are the extensions of the core we have inside us. But what I value as the biggest challenge is to have it like I have it. It's in me, it's in my possession. I experience it, I meet it. I have meeting with love later within me. It's in my possession. It is in my ability to increase it. It is my responsibility to bring it to my life and to let it heal me. It's within me, and I am responsible for it. It's my obligation, because whenever I do not nurture and cultivate love within me, it's like as if I'm not turning on the light in my life. So if I do not practice love to me, I find myself with fear, with the darkness of my life. It is something, it is automatic. So if I do not turn on the heat, I have cold temperature. If I don't turn on the light, I will have darkness. We all have some relative darkness. And this darkness is calling us to turn on the light, because the only thing about turning on the light is whenever it is dark. Otherwise, we don't need to turn on the light. Okay? So because we live in relative darkness and negativity, I'm saying this is our obligation as people who are interested in transformation and healing to turn on the light, which is to remind ourselves the feeling of love within us, not related to anyone else, not dependent on someone that will agree to be my friend or to return love to me. First of all, it's in my possession. First of all, it is me. God is within me, love is within me. I can generate love. I am a generator of love. It is within me. I should not be frustrated that people do not love me, because I'm not dependent on them to have love. It's within me. And then I can share it with someone else who also practices self-love, and then we can play with the love between us. Okay? And I think that this is the modern perspective about love, that says that people have the power to generate love within themselves, thereby remembering the God within them. Not just remembering by knowing, by reading, but by feeling. So the more you practice self-love, it is something that gets better. The more you connect to this divine, something that you cannot explain, state of mind within you. And I have no doubt that when we practice self-love and we feel this stream of nice energy within us, I have no doubt that we have similar feelings, but we will never be able to prove it. We can say that these feelings make us feel good, warm, expanding, comfortable, but still it remains as a personal feeling. Okay, Vardit, yes, your turn.
Thank you. Right brain is connected with the heart, which some cultures or even philosophers and poets would say it's another kind of brain that we have, the heart. And in the heart, because also the right brain is connected to poetry, it's the most accurate descriptions of love come from poetry and not from science, I would say. And a lot of inspiration that I got was from Rumi and all those Sufi dervishes, you know, like you have like a flame, small flame in the heart that you can kindle it more strongly and make the flame stronger. And it's almost ecstatic, the devotion that you have from your heart to God. But it's something that really expands, like you said, it expands if you kind of go into your heart and you feel it. I remember that many years ago, I didn't succeed to feeling it strongly. And the weird thing was that having a cat really helped me to feel this love, you know, because then it's not conditioned. It's like, it's really pure. And I was practicing on this cat, you know, when I looked at her, she was a teacher for love for me, you know. So I feel that this practice that we have is something that is experiential and can get inspiration from all kinds of poetic and from beauty, from everything that really expands this feeling from animals. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. David, before I return to you, I was just thinking about the combination of the words self-love, the highest obligation. And it reminded me that within religion, we have obligations. Every religion has its rituals and obligation. Do that and do not do that. Do that in this time and do not, and they have rules. And if you define yourself as relate to a certain religion, you will practice some of its rituals or rules. So you belong to this religion. When I'm saying self-love is the highest obligation, it sounds similar, like a religion, I'm saying, well, if you want a better life, if you want healthier life, you must practice self-love. But this is just me. I'm not trying to open now a new movement or religion, but it sounds the same. It is a rule that says you want love, you practice love. Otherwise, you can talk about it, but you won't have it. And also in relationship, you want relationship to be good, you need to nurture it with love every day. Otherwise, you won't have relationship. It's a rule. So the same goes for between us and us. If you want the love to flow, you need to make it flow. And how you do it? First of all, you go to the mirror and you smile for 10, 20 seconds until you feel again how it opens up within you. Okay, David, Dudu.
Thank you. Just a remark, because the wonderful Ayala sent something beautiful from the Bible, from Vaikra. So it was mentioned, love your neighbors like you love yourself. So I'd like to say it in Hebrew and explain. Reacha, it means your friend. Reacha kamocha, love your neighbor. It means, Reacha, if you translate as is erech, value. It means his value is like your value, no more. You're equal. And equality, in my opinion, is something important that love includes, because you don't look down on people, because you love them. You love them as you love yourself, the same value. That's only I want to mention. In Hebrew, it's very beautiful, the language that you can play with very specially. So it's not like, it's not Reacha kamocha. In Hebrew, it's love your neighbor like you love yourself. It's a little, it's not as deep or precise as in Hebrew. Anyway, thank you.
It is regarded as one of the highest commands for Jewish people. Love your neighbor.
As far as obligation, I would say demeanor, the way you are exposed.
Love your neighbor the same way you love yourselves. So one of the interpretation for this sentence begins with loving yourself. But not take it for granted that you love yourself. No way. Many people do not love themselves. It is not obvious that people love themselves. It is practice. It is demanding. You need to prove that you love yourself through the right choices, the right decisions, the right way to cope with challenges, the right self-support, self-compassion, self-friendship, how you address yourself when you fail, how you address yourself when you are in pain. You have many tests to show that you love yourself. Then you can say, I have love within me, and my obligation is to love other people the same way I address myself. Nice. Okay, back to you, Viola.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that sometimes people are afraid. Of course, this is also in Christianity, the biggest obligation to love yourself, and then you will be able to love your neighbor. But sometimes also people are afraid to, from the conversations now when I'm speaking about this, I'm learning how to love myself. people are very, oh my goodness, this is becoming like a narcissism or something. So what I discovered, and it's amazing, more I love myself, because I am really in a speedy process of loving myself lately. It really makes me to look at the people on the equal level. I'm not higher than they are. I'm not lower. It just it's this dignity I'm giving them. I'm having myself, you know, and this is completely different than narcissism. So I have many not arguments, but many discussions here. People are so much afraid that, oh, you will become, oh, somebody who is in this process can become a narcissist.
Yes.
Anyway, so I appreciate it so much that it gives me this opportunity to see others as precious as I am becoming in my own eyes. This.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
That's it. That's it. This is the right religion, you see. Sorry.
So you started so.
I know it's a sensitive word, but you know it's here. It influences our life. It is everywhere, so we cannot ignore it totally. And I think it's important to expand the way we address the concept of love and not just leave it to religion, to have it something that everyone should cope with it. God, universe, all that there is, doesn't matter how you address it. Okay, so thank you very much, Viola. And I agree, we will have a chapter about narcissism, etc. We will focus on this. I just can say in a nutshell that in a psychiatric point of view, narcissism means that you have little amount of love within yourself. And this is why you exaggerate in showing as if you love yourself, just because you don't have it within you. The more you have it, the less you need to show it. You have it. And the more you have it, you view other people as yourself. So you don't want to harm them because you know that when you harm them, you harm yourself. So actually, self-love is in many ways the complete opposite of this. But there is a fear of love, there is a fear of peace, there is a fear of harmony, and people are kind of addicted to conflicts, to fear. So when you are giving them the challenge, the concept of love, no, it's not possible, no. I can never love this person, I can never, no, it's too dangerous to love them, etc. Okay, who else wants to add something to this interesting conversation?
I would like to.
All right.
Yeah.
Tuti.
Yeah. Okay. For me, practicing love is to remember few times in my life that I experienced out of the blue unconditional love. I didn't do anything. I didn't thought about it. It just happened. So when I remember this experience a few times, then I can remind myself what is love, because this is something that I can't, doesn't have words to tell about that. It just, it's like if I smell something, I can't explain how does it feel. That's for me. So, and thank you for all the comments and reminders that reminding that attention and intention to be in a state of mind of love, for me, it's practiced every day. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I would like to challenge the concept of unconditional love. It is a very popular concept, and I believe it sometimes can be misleading. I think that we experience something that we may say as endless love, that has no boundaries, no limits. This is the sweet feeling, total expanding. It has no limits, it's endless. Sometimes we can confuse between conditioned relationship and conditioned love. Love, at its essence, can never be conditioned, otherwise it is not love. It is not love. Love, when I feel love, it doesn't mean that I want to be in connection with someone. Connection has its own conditions, yes. If you want to be in relationship with me, we have to agree about stuff, and we have to make negotiations, we have conditions. But when I feel love for you, no, it's always unconditional. It cannot be conditioned. This is the way I see it. I think that when we mention the concept of unconditional, that nothing can stop it. It has no boundaries, it has no blockades, nothing. It is a continuous, endless flow. And this is also a concept of right brain. Right brain is comfortable with phenomena that are endless. Right brain doesn't need to put things in boxes. For example, like the concept of this question, when did life begin in the universe? And then when we hear people that are channeling, they say, well, it has always been here. There was no beginning. And left brain cannot take this concept. No, somewhere in the point of time, things began. And you have said, no, it has always been here. It is concept of endlessness. And this is something we can connect to through our right brain skills. If you open your eyes and you fly to your imagination and you feel that you're endless, this is the place where your right brain likes to be. When you are in a creative flow and you have all this stream of ideas of how to change your painting or your story or your dancing, you have this feeling of endlessness. I believe that part of the feeling of love, or even being in love, is a feeling that I have no boundaries. And sometimes we don't know how to contain this in our real life, and we may get into troubles because we want to mix the endless things with the things that should have boundaries. Okay, we have 4 minutes left. Who else wants to comment, to challenge, to disagree, to add?
I do.
Go ahead, Ayala.
You've just mentioned the being in love, and that's exactly what I wanted to pause on and to emphasize. I am in love, 4 short words, and you can pause on each and every one of them, and it says exactly that, the essence of love, starting with I, me, am is being, in is even further being, love.
Nice.
And I'm in love is the core of everything. First of all, with me. It's not an infatuation. It's not a one-night stand. It's not a short term in a long relationship. That is the long relationship.
Nice. I am in love. I am in the place or space of or being that is termed or felt as love. I am in there.
Yeah.
State of being, right? Exactly. Beautiful.
So, and I will connect you back to the highest obligation, grounding to the day-to-day routines. I am saying that the more I practice self-love, the more I'm in love. It's not just a saying, it's also a doing. So if in order for me to be in love, I need to take myself over there. I need to make a decision. Right now, when I find my reflection in the mirror, I will practice love with this person. It's my responsibility to smile again, even in hard times. And I add to this, my recommendation, practice emotional transformation. We showed you the video over there. The third step is love yourself, show yourself love, express love towards yourself. Remember that you are loved. And I believe that this is where things begin. And I want to tell you that currently I've just started a program in Israel to train teachers, new kind of teachers that will teach self-love, that will teach children, youth, and adults the essence of self-love as a fundamental, very important thing for life. Learn this, learn the concept, learn the importance, be involved, and get to know that you can make it by yourself. All right. Thank you all for joining this lesson. I will stop the recording now.